they look at Fartcoin. What a name for a token. But anyway, we are losing a major support here. We have two major support areas coming up through here. We have one right up through here, coming up here, that it's losing. And then we have the major trend that's coming up through here. This is on a 12-hour chart. If I come out with daily, all right, got the same thing going on here. All right, you have your major support coming up through. Let me grab my arrow here. Coming up through here on a daily. All right, you have a touch here, and you have a touch up here. You have 1, 2, 3 touches here coming through and losing that support. We got this over in Discord. We're taking this short. I'm going to give you a target here for this. I do want to show you Bitcoin real quick. That is the major mover in the market. Obviously, it is coming up right up to this crosshair right here, getting rejected, all right, and rolling over a little bit. The question is this a 5-wave down, which would be right through here? We would have 1, 2, 3, 4, and possibly a 5th wave here. All right, the 5th wave, a target. If this does come down, all right, you have a target. Let's get the target for this thing right here. Take your Fibonacci, put it on the bottom, bring it up to the top, and your 1618 would be your target. All right, which would be right down 94,000, right around there. Okay, pull this down here. Let's see if that matches up with anything. Let's go on a daily, look for support levels. We have some closing candles through here on the daily. We have numerous wicks to this area. You know, possibility, right? If it doesn't, you'd be looking maybe at a pullback down here to this support at 1013 and maybe a bounce there. All right, now if we take a look at the RSIs, let's see where they're at here. You know, I took a short on this thing up here this morning. I thought I'd jump in on this. Usually when it does come back up, usually when you lose it and it comes back up to this crosshair area, this is a very good area to jump in a short, right? When you get that crosshairs. The 12-hour rolling over, all right? You got a 47 and a 49. It's bearish on the daily, coming down. 44 and a 55, all right? You do... it's kind of in the middle here, right? Turning green or red on the weekly. 83 and an 84. We are bearish. Okay, so could get that 5th wave down here. That would be a shakeout. Obviously, that would take out a lot of longs, right? We pull this down. Let's go out on the daily and take a fib and take a look and see. Let's look at some levels here, right? Number one, let's clean this up a little bit. Let's get that off there. All right, you'd be taking your fib right down here was the start of this move up, right here. Take your Fibonacci, go from your low to your high. All right, that would put us right between a 50% and a 618. You know, for a 5th wave down. All right, yeah. No, I apologize. It would have been up here, right? At this 382, 90. Let's get this again. Get my target here. 12-hour. Yeah, that was 93,000, correct? Yeah, 93. 93.9, somewhere right around there. 93, 94,000 bucks. That would be at the 382. Yeah, possible, right? We'll see what happens here. Either that or Bitcoin breaks through here and comes up, you know, higher. We'll see what happens. But you're looking at the major area for this thing to break, all right, to take this out, would be right at about 103, you know, call it 104. You know, break a 104. That would break the top of this. This crosshairs here, you know, and break out. You know, if it doesn't, you know, if it comes down here and loses 101, 350, right around there, I'd look for this fifth wave down for Bitcoin. Very possible. You got all the RSIs heading that way. We'll see what happens. Now over here with Fartcoin, this thing is trying to hold, isn't it? I mean, it's pushing down and pulling back up. And if we zoom in on a 4 hour, look at that. Major pullback up here. We'll see what happens. But we are in a short over in Discord. This could be just a run back up to retest this now as resistance. We'll see what happens here. You got two major wicks over here that pulled back up. As far as the RSIs go, you got the 4 hour pulling down. You got the let's see, the 8 hour bearish. You got all these pulling down. If we get this run down here, we're probably going to get a major bounce after that. You got the 12 hour bearish and the daily bearish. All right, I took a little short on this earlier this morning. I zoomed in on this right over here on, I'll show you, right over here, right inside here. I ended up taking a short on the smaller time frame on the 1 hour. Right here, you had this line coming up here. I took a short here, okay? Ended up getting out of it before it retraced back up here. It retraced back up here, came back down. I wish I would have just stayed in it, quite honestly, because if it comes back up here and then loses this, it's going to be a massive drop. But I got in right up here, right up here. It broke this, came back up, retested it. That's where I got in. Rode this short down to here, got out of it before it came back up here and hit that trend line. Now it's broken, that trend line. The question is, are we going to get the run down here? If we do, I am looking at this thing to run down as a major daily support area. A couple of them actually, right through here. We pull this down. All right, if you get that fifth wave, the target down there would be 66. But you have a couple major support areas here. I'm going to pull up for you as soon as I get this thing to pull over here. There we go. All right, you got one right through here at about 69. And this is on MEXC. This is the MEXC chart, all right? See what chart you're on and put your major levels through there. All right, this one is at 69, roughly 69 and a half, all right? Then you have one right down here, right below the 1618. At about 64.8. Pull that up there, right there. All right, so any of these areas, and the target is 66. That's right between both of them. If it breaks down here, all right. Now if we go back, let's go back over here. This chart here, this thing's drawn back up in. We'll see what happens, right? I mean, looking for a breakdown, though. We've got all the RSIs heading down and everything else, but I'm looking. If it comes down to 69 and a half or 66, the target, look for a major bounce here, right? Either run back up to retest it as resistance and then another wave down, or run back up in here, all right? Because out in the daily, what you could have going on. You could have a 1, 2, 3, 4, then another wave down, actually. That's what could happen here, okay? We'll see what happens here. But looking for a run down here, 69.5, 66. As long as we get this push here. If it sucks back up in, then it's going to run back up to the upside. But as long as it keeps losing these support lines here, I think it's retesting now and then probably going to push back down. Look for that push down. If it holds, all right, if this thing sucks back up in and holds, this thing's going to run back up. You got all the RSIs. I mean, the dailies down near the bottom. You got all of these getting near the bottom. I don't have a weekly yet. You got a 12 hour here on the bottom. All these RSIs are getting on the bottom here. So regardless, if you get the run down, look for a run back up here. If it breaks through this trend line, this thing could take off. If you get the bounce back up and it gets rejected, then look for another wave down. All right, but all them RSIs are getting pretty oversold, right? If you want to join up on our Discord, sign up for a level 3 membership. It's only 15 bucks, and there's also a link over there for the site I use. All right, this site here, Bitunix. I like it a lot. They have a lot of prize pulls in here. Trade and share. They have a bunch of them coming up. They have Trump coming up. Then they have all kind of welcome bonuses. You can go into the trading volume. You guys that trade leverage, you know that doesn't take much to add up, right? If you come down here, newcomer tasks, right down here, the coupons you can get. This is the only one I haven't got yet. Close to 7 million in trading volume. But each time you hit a trading volume, you get these coupons, and then they throw ones in there. You know, if you sign up, then you get these mystery boxes. You get to open up. I got 3 of them without completing my KYC. If you complete the KYC, you get another one, but you do not have to complete that. Right? They have a Lunar New Year thing. Just started yesterday, I believe. All right, you can go down through and your new deposits. If you deposit up to 1,000, I've had money in here for a while, so I haven't deposited much. That was my commissions, I believe. But down through here, they have prize pulls. Users who achieve a daily trading volume of 5,000 bucks. That's easy in futures. During the event, share daily token prize pool rewards. January 27th, it's Bitcoin, $10,000 in Bitcoin. Yeah, the 28th, $10,000 in ETH. The 29th, $8,000 in Solana. The 30th, $8,000 in Trump. Yeah, check these out. So each day, as long as you have $5,000 in trading volume, which on leverage, that's very easy. You know, if you have $1,000 in your account and do a 5x every day or whatever, you reach your 5,000 real quick. If you have 100 in there, you know, and do a 20x leverage or whatever, that's 2,000 bucks right there. You know, adds up fast. It really does. You know, like I showed you, I have almost $7 million, and I've been over here, I don't know, a month and a half, maybe 2 months, something like that. But I really like them. Don't get big wicks, big crazy wicks out there on this site, which I really enjoy. And they got a lot of liquidity. I mean, you go to sell something, it's instant. They're getting big. You know, you got all kinds of cool stuff over here. So there's a link in the description of the video if you want to come over and join. Really great site. Yeah, trade now with 10 bucks. You know, you can put 10 bucks in there and start trading. I really like them. You know, I think they're going to become pretty huge, actually. You know, them wicks you get on other sites, you don't get them here, which I like a lot. I used to get wicked out all the time. I hated it. And they have an app for your phone and stuff like that. So go check it out. But Fartcoin, see if it's done anything since I started blabbing here. You know, still going back up there and retesting that line. I'm pretty sure it's going to roll over and fall down here. I really am. You got all the RSIs heading down, and it looks like a possible another wave down here. All right, so yeah, it's losing that support. All right, thank you so much, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Please hit that like and subscribe. Come over and join up for that level 3. And then get over on Bitunix there and sign up and start trading with us, man. There's a lot of money to be made in leverage trading. We're about ready to head into an alt season very, very soon. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. We're going to have another shakeout here. Maybe Bitcoin flies down there. Maybe it don't. You know, we'll see what happens with that. But this thing is definitely losing that support line. You can see it ready to start on its way down. Have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for watching my video.